Welcome back. So, 5 Series BM. This is a 535 and got a big problem with this car. So, we're getting a burning smell and fumes coming through the air vents on this car. So, on this one, we have N55 engine, and as you all probably know, BMWs are known for their oil leaks. This one's no different. It's got an oil leak from the rocker cover. So, in this video, we're going to dive right in, get all this stuff off, and let's get the rocker cover changed. So I can already see on here a little bit of oil marks, but I'm not going to bother showing it right now. I'm going to get the covers off and then we can have a proper look. So if you have N55 F10 BMW 535 and you have the same issues where you're getting a burning smell, or you're physically seeing smoke coming through the vents, this is something you should look at. So let's dive right in, get some of these covers taken off, and get this rocker cover swapped out. Let's go. Right, engine cover is off, and this is what we got. So we're working with a lot here. There's a lot going on here. So before we get started, a little bit of advice. It's best to take a picture of all of this before we start ripping it apart, so then we know where things go, if there's any confusion. And then just be careful, take your time stripping all of these stuff because it's plastic. So I removed this earlier off camera, but this whole pipe is just very fragile, so you want to be gentle with it. Same goes for this one. Also, there's this rubber pieces that go in here, and the engine cover slots into that, so make sure that you take these out, because if you leave them in there and you go to disconnect this pipe, it's just going to fall into the engine. So put them all aside and then get started. One more thing I want to point out, the fuel lines going into the injector. If the battery is connected and you open any of the doors or even the boot, it will activate the fuel pump to prime. So what will happen is, if you got these undone and you open the door or the boot, it will send fuel up here and it will start spraying out fuel everywhere. So it's best to disconnect the battery or make sure you're not opening any doors. Also, when you go to disconnect these, I haven't disconnected these yet, something that's good to do is to put a little rag there, because if it's under pressure it will release a bit of fuel, so just be cautious. Right, so let's start getting the rest of this stuff off, and then I'm going to show you at the back where it's leaking and where all the problems are. Let's go. Air filter cover, air filter, intake pipe all off, and I'm going to get to while we're doing this in a second. I'm going to show you where it's been leaking in a second, but just want to mention this pipe here, intake pipe, this part is wise to change it when you're doing this job. I've just ordered it. I didn't think I would need it, but when I was removing this, it was making some unusual noises, which I don't like. I have inspected it. It doesn't look like it's damaged, but I want to change it. Also, be careful with this pipe, because you got your sensor right there, mass airflow sensor, and you don't want to disturb anything. You don't want to drop it, so be careful. I'm going to change this off camera. If you're doing this job, advise getting this part from BMW and changing that as well. So I'm going to move this out of the way. Let's get to where this has been leaking from. So the exhaust manifold, you can see the oil that's just been dripping on there, and this is what's been causing all the smoking and all the burning smells. And you can see all along the edge here all the oil, and I believe it's leaking even more at the back, but I can't get to it. Still got some more stuff to remove, so let's keep going. I'm going to get all this stuff out of the way and then we'll get this off. Now the injectors on this one doesn't need to come off, it's not getting in the way. All that needs to be removed are these metal pipes that are coming from the rail to the injector. Coil packs also you can leave in if you want to. I'm just going to disconnect the wires, get them out of the way, and leave the coil packs in there, because then I know that nothing can fall in there when I'm removing the rest of the stuff and getting this all out of the way. This bit here as well, make sure there's a rubber seal here. Make sure you buy a new seal from BMW. And these screws are one-time use only, so make sure you buy them new as well, which I'm going to be changing on this one as well. So let's go. Let's get the rest of this stuff off, and then I'll show you hopefully the back of this. And that's the wiring loom removed. So just a few things to point out on this loom. Just sits along here. You have 3 of these little earth wires, one here, there, and one here. They go here, here, and over there, and they're just held on by a little 8mm nut. So make sure you don't drop them. And then your injector wires, which are going to be these little guys here, they're over there. What I found useful was just very gently, when the wire's in there, you get a pick tool right here, and you can just slowly pry this tab back, and you can remove the plug. Don't go crazy, don't put any big screwdrivers in there because it will just snap it off, and then your injector wire won't sit in properly. So this is what I meant earlier by saying I'm going to leave the core packs in here. I can take them out, but when I'm looking at it, they're not really interfering, they're not getting in the way, and I don't want to drop anything in there, so I'm just going to leave them there. So this pipe as well, so this one can just come out of the way. These pipes I've just, it's not tight, I've just cable tied it to the wiper so then they stay up and gives me a bit of space to work back here. Your oxygen sensor wire sits in a bracket here, and I've just tucked them in the corner, and then the rest of the connectors are there. You can't get them wrong because they only go one way, so there's literally this one goes onto the same one, same color on the inside, and then the other one goes to the other one, so can't get them wrong. But like I said, pictures help, so before you take anything off, just take a picture so then you can always look back at it and you know where things go. So next thing I'm going to do is going to get this guy off and get it out of the way. This pipe here, it goes way down there. I wanted to try and remove the whole pipe, but it goes down there. So I'm going to try and do is, when the time comes, I'm going to raise this clip up, so that should give me a bit more space, and then just have this up, and I think I have enough space to get the rocker cover off. But if we need to remove this, we'll deal with it then. So let's get this guy off now, and then I'm gonna disconnect the injector pipes, and then we're ready to take this rocker cover out. So let's go. And that's the rail off. So gonna need a 17mm spanner to get this guy off. All of these are 14mm, and then here, here, there, and back there you're gonna have 11mm bolts to take off. Disconnect the rail pressure sensor back here, and then very gently you can remove the injector rail. You're going to get these plastic clips which go into these holes here. I'm touching my finger behind it. You don't have to be too rough with them, they just sort of hook on there, so just get a little screwdriver and you can move it out of the way, and then you get access to the bolt. So I'm going to put this somewhere safe, and then we can crack on now with getting these top bolts off, and we can get this old rocker cover out. Then we've got to do a bit of cleaning down there. We can have a proper look at the back there as well, and then yeah, let's go. Right, so it's the next day. Ran into a bit of problems yesterday, so I've got all this clean now. When I was taking off the old rocker cover, this bit here, the bolt had snapped, and had to call a thread repair person to come out and helicoil this. So now that's all done, we can come back and fit the new rocker cover. So if you want to make sure the surface where it goes on is all nice and clean, I've cleaned all of this as well, all the way on the back as well. So now I'm going to take out these two coil packs, probably these two as well, and then we can get the new rocker cover put back on. When you are, before you fit it, if you're doing this job and it's been leaking, it's good to get in here and clean all of this. If you can get some brake clean on a rag, clean at the top of the exhaust manifold as well. That will help when you get this thing all started up, and then it won't smoke. So let's get the rocker cover unboxed and get it on this car. So got the new rocker cover out of the box. This is a genuine BMW rocker cover. Comes with all the new bolts, gaskets in the middle here, these three, and the big one here as well. Only thing you have to transfer really from the old one is the cap, the oil filler cap here. I've also got the gasket that will go through here from the other side, and two screws for it as well. We did also notice on this car that the oil filter housing is also leaking. So in here I have from BMW both of those gaskets as well. I'll be doing that either off camera, or I'll be making a separate video for that one. If I do make a separate video, it'll probably be second video to this one. So we'll deal with that stuff later. So just want to make one thing clear and point one thing out more than making it clear, which is this piece here. When you go to put this on, it will always get caught around here, and this piece will come off and fall in. So you want to make sure that that doesn't happen. And when you're removing the old one as well, I'll get the old one here. When you're removing the old one as well, make sure that piece comes out with it and that it's not fallen and sitting in there. So just a little tip to watch out for. And never throw anything away until the job's fully completed, just in case you have to transfer a few things. So now gonna get this all cleaned up again. Just gonna give it another one last clean before I go to put it on, and then go from there. So one more thing I wanted to show. This is what I meant. So if you place a water bottle here, empty bottle, if you do by accident open the door or the boot, or you have to lock and unlock the car and the battery's connected, this will catch the fuel rather than spray it all over the engine. So I just put a bottle there just to show. So now let's get this installed and start putting this car back together. Let's go. And that's the rocker cover in. This was a bit of a fiddle, but got it in, tightened it all up, marked all the bolts as well, so in case in future if anything comes undone, it moves, I can check it. They have all been torqued down as well. This is a little bit of a fiddle getting in because there isn't that much clearance at the back. So, and there's a gasket right here and then another one further down. So you want to make sure you don't catch it on here. The highest part is here, so when you're sending this in, make sure you don't catch it. So take your time and do it slowly, and always check the back of this. Don't just put it on and tighten it. Make sure it's sitting properly. What I do is I have a mirror that I put there, shine the light on it, and then you can have a look at the back. So if the gasket has come off and is sitting away from the rocker cover and it's just sticking out, before you tighten it you will see it. Otherwise, when you tighten it, not only are you going to damage the gasket, it's not sealing properly, and then you got not gearbox oil, you got engine oil leaking on top of your gearbox. So now let's get the rest of this stuff buttoned up. I'm going to start with the injector rails. I'm going to clean all this up quickly, clean up the injector rail, and then let's pop it on, pop the coil packs in as well, and then we've got a bunch of wiring to put back in place, plug in, and then we can attempt to start this. I've also cleaned all down here. Obviously the car hasn't been driven and it's the next day because we had to do the helicoil stuff. So now I've just cleaned all of this with a rag and some brake cleaner. So hopefully there isn't too much oil in there, but whatever's left there once it started should burn off. So now let's get the rest of this on. Injector rails all on, coil packs and all the wiring connected, injectors also connected. So earlier on when I was taking this off, I mentioned pictures. Please take pictures of this one. There's so much going on here and even I forgot where things go, but I've got all the pictures, so I'm able to go back and go from there. Like for example this bracket where the oxygen sensor connector plugs live. So originally I thought it was there, but it's there. So it helps having pictures. Also, one thing I want to point out, so this bolt here, because this is brand new, doesn't actually have a thread, so you have to slowly screw this in and it will sort of self-tap its way into it. This seal here I've replaced as well. These two screws and seals, one time use only. You can buy them from BMW when you're doing this, so that's brand new as well. Now I've got to start assembling all the covers and stuff that goes back there. You got the mass airflow and this connector that needs to just connect up to the box. Sort that out as well, and then we are almost there, ready to start the car. So let's go. One thing I want to show as well, I'll just put the light here, try and zoom in. So I'm going to put an arrow on here, but just in there, this probably won't be very good on video, but in there oil will collect. So when you're doing this job, just spray brake cleaner in there and clean it up. If you have an airline, even better, blow it out and get as much oil as you can from there. It will smoke a little bit when you start it, but then it should clear itself after a little while. Just thought I'll show that on this video as well. Alright, let's go. We are nearly there. So this foam piece with the bracket, got that on. This wire here, it's going down here and it's right there. This is the live wire that goes all the way from the front here to the battery at the back in the boot. So make sure that it goes back in the right place. You do not want this moving around, getting damaged and then causing a fire. Also, when you're putting this piece on, make sure the rail pressure sensor is connected and mass airflow plug is fed through under here and through there. So the mass airflow is on this intake tube, it's right there. So and this sits across like so, that sensor needs to be able to reach it and connect. So got this all cleaned as well. I sprayed loads of brake cleaner into there to try and clean as much oil as I can, and then I realized afterwards there's a lot of brake cleaner just sitting there, which I didn't like. I'm getting ready to start the car soon, so I don't want brake cleaner just sitting there as this engine's heating up, because brake cleaner is very flammable. So what I've done is I've cleaned it all out with an airline, just blown it all through as much as I can. I'm sure there's still some oil left over, but I'm not worried about that too much because it will just burn off when the engine warms up. So remember, if you are using brake cleaner, it's also good to get an airline in there, just clean it up so we can make sure that way there's not much sitting around. Okay, next step is this intake tube. I'm just going to give this a bit of a clean and then get this all mounted up. After that, just got to pop the air filter back in. Then I'm not going to put the rest of the covers on after that. I'm going to start the car and then I want to monitor things. I want to check over here because there's injectors back there. So if I put all the covers on, you won't be able to get to any of those. I want to lift all this up and make sure that those injectors are not leaking, because we did have these disconnected. So make sure before you fully go back on with the covers, get the car up and running and then just watch it. I'm going to leave it running for about 20 minutes or so. Just let it warm up, make sure everything's good, everything's happy, and then we can continue to put the covers back on, take it for a drive. So let's go. One final thing I want to say before we wrap things up. This engine cover here has two mounting points, and they're basically two plastic bolts. One goes there and the other one over there. I forgot to transfer them over and the cover was a bit loose. I've transferred them over now, so just wanted to show it here. It's going to be here and here. Make sure you transfer them over to the new one because the new part does not come with it. So I'm just going to grab this light now. Let's have a look at the back where it was smoking earlier. So before, when I put the light there, you could see a lot of smoke coming up through there. Now can't see any smoke coming through, so that's a good sign. So we're going to wrap things up here. We're going to take this for a drive, make sure everything's okay, drives all good and no warning lights. And then I'll come back to this in a few weeks time, take the covers back off, have a little inspection, make sure nothing's leaking. We hope you like this video. Give it a thumbs up. We hope this video helps you. If you have this engine, N55, it's really not that bad to work on. A little bit fiddly, and working at the back can be a little tricky, but it's not all that difficult. If you take your time, you can get this job done. So we hope this video helps. We'll see you on the next one. Please help this channel grow by liking the video, subscribe and share. See you on the next one. Thank you.